Let's talk about linear functions, slope-intercept form. So, the slope of a non-vertical line is a number that talks about how steep this line is. It's the horizontal change and the vertical change put into a number, and it's the vertical change over the horizontal change. So, slope is vertical change, or the rise, over the horizontal change, or the run. If you have 2 points, x1, y1, and x2, y2, then you can find it by just subtracting y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. And x2 minus x1 is not allowed to equal 0 because you're not allowed to divide by 0. So what is the slope of the line that passes through these points? Okay. Well, the formula for slope is y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. So y2 is 4 minus 7. x2 minus x1 is negative 2 minus negative 3. 4 minus 7 is negative 3. Negative 2 minus a negative is the same as plus the positive, so negative 2 plus 3 is 1. Negative 3 over 1 is negative 3. So the slope of the line that passes through these points is negative 3 over 1, or you can just call it negative 3. How about these 2 points? Same formula. y2 minus y1 is 1 minus 1. And x2 minus x1 is negative 4 minus 3. 1 minus 1 is 0. Negative 4 minus 3 is negative 7. And 0 over negative 7 is 0. So the slope of the line that passes through these 2 points is 0. And here's 0 is a horizontal flat line. What about this one? 7, negative 3, and 7, 1. Same formula. y2 minus y1 is 1 minus negative 3. That'll be 4. x2 minus x1 is 7 minus 7, which is 0. But here's the problem. 4 divided by 0 doesn't make sense. We're not allowed to divide by 0. That is what we call undefined. It's a vertical line, and vertical lines have an undefined slope. Okay, pause, see if you can answer question 1 here. Push play when you're ready to see the answer. Alright, so A is 5, 4, and 8, 1. So, if this is x1 and y1, and this is x2 and y2, then y2 minus y1 is going to be 1 minus 4. And x2 minus x1 is 8 minus 5. And that is, 1 minus 4 is negative 3. 8 minus 5 is 3. Negative 3 divided by 3 is negative 1. For B, we're going to do y2 minus y1. So that's negative 2 minus 2 over x2 minus x1, which happens to also be negative 2 minus 2. And that's negative 4 over negative 4, which equals 1. Okay. For C, negative 4 minus 3, and then 9 minus 9. That's negative 7 over 0, which is undefined. Okay, so D says to use the slope formula to show that it doesn't matter which point you choose for x1, y1. So let's say that, let's do D up here. Let's say that x1, y1 is going to be 8, 1. And x2, y2 will be 5, 4. So that means we're going to do y2 minus y1, that's 4 minus 1, over x2 minus x1, which is 5 minus 8. If you look down here, you'll notice that it's just the reverse of what we had here. Instead of 1 minus 4 over 8 minus 5, it's 4 minus 1 over 5 minus 8. Are we going to get the same answer? 4 minus 1 is 3. 5 minus 8 is negative 3. And 3 divided by negative 3 is negative 1. Same slope as we got before. So it doesn't matter which point you choose to be x1 and y1. As long as you do your math right, you'll get the same answer. So in summary, a positive slope, and I'll show you how I remember that. A positive slope goes up to the right, a negative slope goes down to the right. A zero slope is flat, an undefined slope is vertical. Here's how I remember it. I imagine I'm going to try to write a word on the line. If the word's going uphill, that's a positive slope. If the word is going downhill, that's a negative slope. If the word's going neither uphill nor downhill, that's a zero slope. And if the word would just fall right off, there's not a line you can really write it on, that's undefined. Because the word will just fall right off. So any function whose graph is a line, we call it a linear function. And you can represent linear functions with linear equations. So y equals 6x minus 4 is a linear equation, and the linear function would be f of x equals 6x minus 4. And those two would have the same graph. This is what we call the linear equation, and this is what we call the linear function. A solution of a linear equation is any ordered pair xy that makes the equation true. Alright, so what is slope-intercept form? Slope-intercept form is the equation of a line, and it's in the form y equals mx plus b, where m is the slope of the line, and the y-intercept is the point 0, b. So this is a big deal. And you should know it, since you took Algebra 1. Alright, what is an equation of each line? Here the slope is 1/5, the y-intercept is 0, negative 3. So here's slope-intercept form. We're going to plug a 1/5 in for m, and b, remember it's 0b. b is negative 3. So y equals 1/5 x plus negative 3. Adding a negative is the same as subtracting. So y equals 1/5 x minus 3. Or what about this line here? Looks like the y-intercept is 4. And then you can use the point 0, 4 and the point 1, 1 to find the slope. So b is 4. Then you can use the point 1, 1 to find the slope. Another way to do it is to just count it. Remember, slope was rise over run. So you can always count that. The rise is down 1, 2, 3. To get from one point to the next, you would go down 3. So that's negative 3 for the rise. And the run is to the right 1. So my slope is negative 3. Or you can use the 2 points. 1 minus 4 is negative 3. 1 minus 0 is 1. That's negative 3. So how would we write the slope-intercept equation? The slope is negative 3. B is 4. So y equals negative 3x plus 4. Alright, pause the video and see if you can figure out number 2 here. Push play when you're ready to see it done. Okay, for A, what is the equation of this line? Well, it's y equals mx plus b. M is 6, so 6x. And then b is 5 plus 5. For B, this line here, the y-intercept, the point where it crosses the y-axis, is 0, negative 3. So b is negative 3. So it's going to be y equals something x minus 3. What's the slope? to get from this point to this point, I go down 1, to the right 2. So my slope is negative 1/2. So C is asking us, what if we use this point instead of this point? Do we still get the same slope? The answer is going to be yes. But here you got to go down 1, 2, 3. So that's negative 3 for the rise. Down 3 and then over 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And negative 3 over 6 is negative 1/2. So, what are the slope and y-intercept if we give it to you like this? Well, all you got to do is get y by itself. Because you remember, slope-intercept form is y equals mx plus b. If you don't have y by itself, just get y by itself. So, subtract 5x from each side. And then we will divide each side by negative 4. And that'll give us y by itself. So we compare this with y equals mx plus b. And what are the slope and the y-intercept? The slope is 5 over 4. And the y-intercept is 0, negative 4. Remember that when they ask for the y-intercept, it's a point. It's 0, b. It's not just the number b. How about this one? We would start by adding 3/4 x to both sides. And then we could multiply both sides by 2 to get rid of this half. And so what happened with, so if we multiply by 2 here, multiply by 2 here, multiply by 2 here, so 2 over 2 is 1, so that's why it's 1y. 3 times 2 is 6, and 6 over 4 reduces to 3 over 2, and then 1 times 2 is 2. So the slope is 3 over 2, and the y-intercept is 0, negative 2. Alright, pause and see if you can do number 3. Push play when you're ready to see it. So for A, we're going to subtract 3x from both sides. And we get 2y equals negative 3x plus 18. Then we're going to divide both sides by 2. And we get y equals negative 3 over 2x plus 18 over 2 is 9. So the slope is negative 3 over 2, and the y-intercept is 0, 9. On B, remember we want to get y by itself, so I'm going to add 7x to both sides. Get negative 5y equals 7x plus 35. Now I'm going to divide both sides by negative 5. And to get y equals 7 divided by negative 5 is negative 7 over 5x. And then 35 divided by negative 5 is negative 7. So the slope is negative 7/5. And the y-intercept is 0, negative 7. Ooh, now we're going to start graphing them, which is always fun. Alright, what's the graph of negative 2x plus y equals 1? We know we have the equation of the line. We need 2 points to draw a line between. So what's the plan? Let's first write this equation in slope-intercept form. Then we'll plot the y-intercept on a graph. Then we'll use the slope to find a second point, and then draw the line through those 2 points. So if I got negative 2x plus y equals 1, I can add 2x to both sides of the equal sign, and I get y equals 2x plus 1. So my slope is 2, which if I want to think about it as rise over run, that's a rise of 2, a run of 1. And my y-intercept is 0, 1. So I'm going to start at the y-intercept, over 0, up 1. So there's my point 0, 1. Now I'm going to use my slope to find another point. A rise of 2, a run of 1. So I'm going to go up 2 over 1, draw a point. The coordinates of that point is 1, 3. Now I've got 2 points. I can get a ruler and draw a line through them. Boom. Kind of fun, actually. So pause, see if you can graph this line, and push play when you're ready to see the solution. So we got 4x minus 7y equals 14. In order to get y by itself, we would need to subtract 4x from both sides of the equal sign. And we've got negative 7y equals negative 4x plus 14. Then to get y by itself, we would divide by negative 7. So we get y equals, negative divided by negative is positive, so that's going to be positive 4 over 7x. And then positive 14 divided by negative 7 will be negative 14 divided by 7 is 2. So my y-intercept is 0, negative 2. And my slope is 4 over 7. So I'm going to go to the point 0, negative 2, draw a dot, and label my point. Then I'm going to count off my slope. Rise of 4, a run of 7. So positive 4 means up 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Then positive 7 is to the right 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Up 4 over 7. Draw the point. Label the point. It's now over 7, up 2. And then draw a line that goes through them. Use a ruler, make it look nice and neat. Or use a computer, like I did. It's fun. You can get a snip off. You can just do an image search to find a graph like this, and then you can put lines on it in either Word or PowerPoint. I find PowerPoint's a little easier because you can move around your text a little easier. Then you can snip and paste that into any formal write-up that you need to do. Speaking of formal write-ups, you can start on practice 2.3 and then get on to your formal write-up 2.3, and I'll catch you later, eh?